Welcome to Aging Insight with your host, John Ross and Lisa Schollmeyer. This program is made possible by
Welcome to Aging Insight, everybody. I'm your host, John Ross, here in the studio with Lisa Schollmeyer, and we are elder law attorneys. We try to help seniors and the people that are caring for them as they get through the aging process. And this combines life planning so that you can get from here to the end without going to a nursing home and without becoming a burden on others, and with your life savings intact. But it also includes estate planning for passing assets at death, and it even includes multi-generational planning of protecting and preserving those assets that you've built up so that they go to the people that you want without having to worry about them getting lost to all the bad things that can happen in this world. And if you're trying to navigate through many, many years of life, and then during all of that time, you've got wills and trusts and guardianship laws and probate laws and tax laws and then government regulations from Medicare and Medicaid and veterans benefits and then investment rules and regulations.
Yes, we talked about those. Yes.
And real estate and all of these different things pile on top of you, and you've got to figure out how you can navigate through all of these to try to getting back to just trying to accomplish those basic goals of living on your own the way you want to without going broke. It sounds so simple. Simple wishes, complex answers.
Right. And you know, John, one of the biggest fears and concerns our seniors have is running out of resources, running out of assets, running out of money, going broke, and yet still have years of life or health challenges ahead of them, and that's just a big concern that seniors have. And John, so many people play on that fear, and it can be very frustrating as an elder law attorney to visit with a client who has perhaps gotten involved in some kind of financial investment or some kind of financial scheme where their hopes are that whatever they've gotten involved in is going to, add some money to their savings. It's going to get rid of that fear of running out of resources before death. And yet, really, it's nothing but a scam. And so we deal with that on a pretty constant basis because, the criminals and the scammers out there, John, they know what scares seniors.
Oh, yeah.
And so they play on that. And so today we're going to talk about some of the financial schemes that we have seen that are targeted at seniors that play on this fear that you'll run out of resources. And, John, this is not a new fear, not a new concern.
Nope.
When many years ago, when my grandfather passed away, as we were cleaning out his very modest, he lived in an apartment above a store in Shreveport, Louisiana. And as we were cleaning out his apartment, we found a bookshelf full of books about a scheme or some ideas of get rich quick.
That's right.
And it really made my dad sad that, his father was just so invested in these books and trying to get rich quick and trying to hit the big one, and it was something we didn't really know until after he passed.
Yeah, and it's one thing when you're young and you're looking at trying to build something, and it's easy to get taken by the promise of riches. But it's also maybe easy to avoid those because you've got other income, you still have a life. I bet our office gets a call once a day, every other day, something like that, from various people. I know one that they call all the time to our office, and they're representing some oil and gas company, and they're going to be doing some brand new drilling, and they're looking for investors. And basically what they're doing is they're calling professionals, lawyers, doctors, things like that, people that they assume have disposable income, and they're promising, look, if you know, just a few $1,000 you get in on this now, and when these oil wells start producing, there'll be thousands and thousands and thousands, and you're going to get a huge rate of return on your money. And as a younger professional, I've got a little disposable income, but I'm thinking, but you know what, I'd rather work. I've got plenty of time to earn. I don't need this get rich quick business. Mm-hmm. But as you get older and you get past your working years, and you're saying, okay, my Social Security, my pension, this is my monthly income, and this is all it's ever going to be. These assets that I have saved,
that's all there is.
This is all there's ever going to be. And you might even be looking at that and thinking, not only is it all it's ever going to be, it ain't enough to get me through. Right. And that kind of desperation is the perfect little boiling pot.
Yeah. Makes that person very vulnerable to some of these schemes because they sound so good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk about some very specific scams and schemes that we have seen, and kind of tell you a little bit about what the hook is and why you should avoid them. So stick with us.
The Wadley Senior Clinic has been such a blessing for our family. Because they specialize in geriatric care, they take the time to really focus on Dad's needs. Their exam rooms are specially designed for seniors, and they offer lab and x-ray on site. With monthly educational programs on health and wellness of the mind and body, our healthcare questions get answered. Best of all, they accept Dad's Medicare benefits. See what the Wadley Senior Clinic can do for you. Wadley Senior Clinic, where healthy relationships begin.
At Advantage Senior Care, our goal is for seniors to stay home longer, stay healthy, and above all, stay happy. Introducing the Independence Check. A trained caregiver will visit your loved one in the comfort of their home, providing assistance with medicines, meal prep, caring companionship, and more.
Miss Smith, I just stopped by your dad's. He's taking his medicine and doing great.
See how an Independence Check can make all the difference in your loved one's day. Call Advantage Senior Care today.
Welcome back, everyone, to Aging Insight. I'm Lisa Scholmeyer. I'm here with John Ross, and we're elder law attorneys based here in the Arklatex area. Today we're talking about get-rich-quick schemes that are targeted at seniors. John, when I visit with seniors that maybe have been victimized, and maybe I'm the one sharing with them, well, this is a scheme, this is not a real business opportunity, they can be very embarrassed about that. And trust me, folks, don't be embarrassed. I mean, I think about Bernie Madoff, who is a name of a man who he got celebrities and very sophisticated business people to invest with him, and it was all a scheme. So, anybody can be a victim.
Yeah, if names like Sidney Poitier, George Clooney, Kevin Bacon, if any of these names sound familiar, they're all people on a laundry list of big name celebrities that have been taken by get-rich-quick schemes. It can happen to anybody. But people, as they get older, especially who have limited resources, are oftentimes the most in danger. Because you know what, if a rich celebrity loses a couple $1,000,000 and is going to have to live the rest of their life on the 20 million they have left, I think they'll be okay. If you lose every penny of your last $50,000, you're in desperate times. So it's particularly important with these, especially with the older folks, to avoid these sort of things.
So I guess one of the first schemes that I would like to talk about is the precious metals scheme. And you know, these days our economy, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? I certainly don't. But we've seen a number of very polished presentations where these presenters are talking about how the economy is going to fall apart, and the investment in gold or silver are the only true safe investment to make. And John, these precious metals, I mean, you know, historically back in the days of the kings and queens, you know, gold meant money, it meant wealth. You know, these days, when you really look at these precious metals as an investment, most of the time they could be a proper investment.
Certainly.
But many times these polished presentations, these infomercials directed to seniors, these cutouts in the Sunday paper that's more directed towards seniors, that's really more fear-mongering.
It is.
And the ship on these precious metals has really kind of sailed. and
Right.
and the value that you're investing in, the market's already topped out and is bottoming out. So
Yeah, there's a class of investments out there called commodities. Commodities are pork barrels, frozen concentrated orange juice,
Sugar.
also precious metals, gold and silver. And ask any financial advisor, or just watch the movie Trading Places, and you will realize that the single most risky investment there is commodities, and gold and silver are commodities. And so, yeah, you know, people are talking about, well, you know, if the economy collapses,
then if you've got a drawer full of gold bullion or gold bars, then you'll be okay.
That's
you know?
right. Well, you know, if there's a zombie apocalypse, it's not going to matter. The gold is going to devalue just like everything else is going to devalue, and in many cases can devalue further and faster than other investment types out there, especially some investment types that have guaranteed backings, like insurance policies and things like that, where you're guaranteed not to lose your principal. And even if the company goes under, you still have a government backing program that will you know, make sure you get your investments back.
Yeah. So you should never invest out of a sense of fear. And really, these precious metals that I've seen, that's really what they're trading on.
Yeah,
So.
and as far as risky investments go, the other risky investment out there that is hugely risky is currencies. And this is where you're buying other countries' currency because you expect the difference in price between what an American dollar is worth and what the foreign dollar is worth to change. And so maybe you can buy $10 worth of Thai baht today, but tomorrow you'll be able to sell that for $20 US.
Right.
You know, because it's going to change in value. And unfortunately, there's been some really nasty stuff in the currency exchange markets.
Well, there has. And many of our viewers may think, are you kidding me? I'm never a person to be involved in currency speculation. But there are salesmen who will reach out to you and tell you about how, you know, with all of the oil production that's going on in the Middle East, that now is the time to invest in Iraqi dinari, and you know, if you'll just take $10,000, we can invest that in Iraqi dinari. And you know, they make it sound so good and so attractive and so certain that we have seen a number of clients in our office right here in Texarkana that have invested in these currency markets. And you know, John, for a while we were seeing those clients call and say, oh, it's about to blow, I'm about to be a millionaire, and I want to set up trusts and I want to do legal things to protect my money. And you know, we would have to say, well, let's just sit back and see. And so far, nothing has hit as
That's right.
promised.
And you know, and that's the thing, is because a lot of these things, there are history of people who have made gargantuan sums of money by doing currency trading. But those oftentimes those are under different circumstances, different environments than what is being pitched to you today. And so you've got to really look out for these sort of things. Again, if you're saying, well, I would never do that, keep that thought.
Right. Well, the other thing that they did, particularly on the currency speculation, was the people that were coming in trying to sell the seniors the currency, they would say to keep it very secret. That, I'm letting you in on this deal, but don't tell your family, don't tell your friends, don't tell your neighbors, because I'm just making this deal available to you. And, these same clients would come to us in a very hush-hush
Right.
kind of way and say, well, I'm not supposed to tell anybody, but I invested in this currency. And of course, the reason they're doing that is because whoever's selling it to you, they don't want you to talk about it because it's such a bad idea that more than likely anyone you speak to about it will tell you it's a bad idea and they'll lose the sale. So again, if you're thinking of a get-rich investment situation out of fear or in secrecy, probably not good investments.
Yeah, I've had a few lottery winner clients over time. And one of the first things I tell a lottery winner or somebody who's come into a large sum of money is tell nobody. Yes. And in fact, go so far as to change your phone numbers and cancel your old phone services and things like that.
Because your fifth cousin twice removed is going to be calling you.
That's right. But I guess my point with that is if you were sitting on an investment possibility that was so good, so wonderful, that it was guaranteed to make you a fortune, you wouldn't tell anybody.
That's right. And you shouldn't.
And you certainly wouldn't be out there trying to sell it to others. My father's a professor of management at Texas State University. He used to tell his students this all the time, that if somebody is telling you that this is the best thing, you can almost assume that it's not, because if it really was, they wouldn't tell you.
Right.
They'd keep that little nugget to themselves, and they'd make all the money and keep it.
Yeah, which kind of goes back to the precious metals thing, pushing those precious metals. I mean, if it was such a great investment, the people who have the money to really invest, they wouldn't be talking about it.
That's right.
So,
all right, we're going to talk about a couple more here in just a second, but we got to take another break, so stick around. We'll be right back.
At Advantage Senior Care, our goal is for seniors to stay home longer, stay healthy, and above all, stay happy. Our individualized plans are tailored to your loved one's needs, from meal preparation, shopping, and light housekeeping to bathing and dressing, mobility assistance, and companionship. Our trained caregivers will help maintain your loved one's independence while providing you with peace of mind. See how our family can help yours. Trust our locally owned and family-operated senior care service. Call Advantage Senior Care today.
As things get older, they require more care. This car and I have seen a lot of miles together, but because I take care of her, she runs just like she did in 1955. That's why I chose the Wadley Senior Clinic, with an individualized care plan designed just for me and a convenient location off Jefferson Avenue. They have everything to keep me running like new. It's not about the miles, it's about the journey. Let the Wadley Senior Clinic keep you happy, healthy, and cruising down the road of life.
Welcome back to Aging Insight, everybody. I'm John Ross here with Lisa Schulmeyer, and today we're trying to help you not get taken by a get-rich-quick scheme.
right.
They're out there. They're coming. You will be approached by them. I get approached by them. Lisa gets approached by them. All of our clients have been approached by them. The key is finding out that it's a get-rich-quick scheme before. And, certainly if you're talking about dangerous investments, things like precious metals, other commodities, currencies, these are things that if you went to a financial advisor, and we did another program on financial advisors and their duties to the client, a financial advisor generally could not even recommend those sort of investments because they are so dangerous and because the values fluctuate so quickly and could do so much damage to your economic stability. So if a regulated professional wouldn't be able to do that for you because it would be against your interests, then you shouldn't be taking some dude off the streets advice.
Someone who just randomly called you, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and John, that reminds me of the story, I don't know, the Old West bank robber, I don't know if it was Billy the Kid or whoever, and he was asked one time, you know, why do you rob banks? And, you know, what was his answer? Because that's where the money is. And often these scammers hit on seniors because, frankly, young people, they spend all their money. But seniors have often saved, and they may not have a large life savings, but they've got something. So these scammers are hitting them up because that's where the money is.
Right, and there's some characteristics, particularly about the older generation, or at least the current older generation, that seem to hold true. One, there's almost kind of this universal concern about their own personal financial well-being. They know that extra money would help give them some security, some peace of mind, and so it's easy to get caught up in the idea that this is going to solve my problems. They also have a tendency to be trusting. One of the others, and really one of the scariest ones, is that one of the places that they consider most trustworthy oftentimes is their church. And this has led to a really distasteful bunch.
Yes, disgusting.
Of folks that they've gone around and essentially they market themselves as selling church bonds or some other church-related investment. You know, and in many cases, these either don't exist at all, or they do exist, but you're not getting what you're paying for. So, for example, they may say there may even be a church out there that has a bond. You know, they're trying to raise money, so they've floated a bond out there, and people could invest in it. But the actual salesman, although that's what he's offering, is not actually using the money for that. Or it could be completely fraudulent, that there really is no church bonds out there. And I had one family, and a husband and wife, and they lost everything they had, a couple of $100,000, because this person approached them and said, you know, I represent a group of religious-based investment choices, and these are backed by these good churches, and it was all a scam. You know, again, these folks were not dumb. These were smart people. But they were being offered something that was just slightly too good to be true. You know, the rates of returns, they weren't going to make millions of dollars, but they were going to get a better rate of return than what they would have gotten at a bank or in the stock market or with some mutual funds and things like that. So it was just enough to entice them, and they probably wouldn't have gone for it. They probably would have smelled something stinky in the whole mess, but for the fact that this person was coming to them as, well, you know, I used to be a pastor, but I retired from preaching, and now I spend my time helping finance churches so that they can build and grow. And the way I do that is by coming around and finding good church-going folks that want to help grow churches in other communities and get a little something in return. And man, that's disgusting. But again, they're preying on not just your desire for that financial security, but they're preying on your trust in an idea or a concept. And so again, you want to be talking to other people before you go dumping everything into one pot like that.
Right. You know, and one of the other areas we see seniors get caught up in is in the area of annuity contracts. And, you know, annuities themselves are not they're not a fraud. They're not, they can be in a very appropriate investment. But, you know, those annuity contracts, they are very lengthy typically. They're very wordy. Usually based on your trusting relationship to the salesperson, you're willing to sign on and give a check over. And so my concern here is if someone comes to you and tells you that they can guarantee a certain dollar amount of income every month, and that the rate of return is 11% or 8.5%. Well, I mean, you folks, if you've got any money in CDs at the bank, you know that the rates of return on savings right now is very low. So it would be an extreme investment that could return to you 11% as a rate of return. So that's one of those categories that if it's too good, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And on these annuity contracts, often the salesman will not tell you about a percent rate of return. They will only tell you about how much money you'll get a month if you purchase the contract. What they're not telling you is some of those dollars that are coming back to you every month are your own dollars. It's not just interest, it's your own dollars that you're giving. So it's not just an investment return you're getting back, you're also getting your principal back little by little. And so it's not as great of an investment as you think, and you've tied up your money.
Yeah, and a little bit of math magic, and you can do all kinds of stuff where something that's only paying 1% looks like it's paying 9% because of some creative mathematics in the contract. The reality of it is you're going to tie your money up and you're not getting any better than what you would have gotten in the bank. Now that doesn't mean that there's not good annuity products out there. They are, but those should be part of an overall investment portfolio, should be done only by people that are acting in your best interests.
Yeah.
And so what are the commissions?
Right.
How much are they going to get off that sale? These are the things that you might want to ask.
Well, and the other thing too is if somebody's telling you should take all of your money and put it in their investment, that you'd be stupid not to take all your money and put it in there. Yeah, you don't need to do that. You have to keep a diverse savings program.
That's right. Anyway, that's the end of our program for today. Stick around next week. We'll have another one. You can always pick up a copy of Aging Insight magazine out there or listen to our radio show on 98.7 every Saturday at noon. But until next week, see you later.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for this week's Aging Insight program with John Ross and Lisa Scholmeyer. This program is made possible by